Today, we are privileged to have with us a key figure in the world of economic development and entrepreneurship, His Excellency, Minister of Economic Inclusion and Small Business, Mr. Younes Sekkouri.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين. Mr. President, Mr. Chair, Mr. Minister, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored today to be part of this closing ceremony for this important event. It's the 50th anniversary, which is a great achievement, and I suppose that all the teams and the network deserve your applause for what they've achieved. It's hard to, it's maybe easier to be at the opening ceremony because no one has of such a gathering, such a big and expert gathering is not easy because what can I say? What can I add to what was said by all the experts, and especially after these two brilliant words from His Excellency, Mr. President and Mr. Minister of Foreign Affairs. What we need to acknowledge is that the fact that we are in the 15th edition means that there is undoubtedly a need for a southern think tanks in order to advance a couple of great issues and big issues, especially at the level of our continent, Africa, but of all those countries which were present in this important gathering. I think it's important for all of us to shape the future with concepts, because this is the role of think tanks, and to make sure that what happens, the reality, is analyzed, but also is projected in the future with a lot of care and scrutiny. I want to congratulate you on the choice of the theme. To choose a theme that has to embrace and to cover and to be a theme that has to be comprehensive is not easy. A theme that has to be strategic in the same time and talks to the decision makers and not only to experts. A theme that has to be inclusive to all kinds of experts so that you can put in all the sub-themes that would nurture the final outcome. So let's say that you chose to address complexity. And you chose to address risk. You know, this famous matrix that tries to bundle these two areas with the likelihood and the severity. When you're addressing risk, when you're preparing yourself to the risk that the crisis might bring to you, you'll have to see the likelihood, the occurrence. What is the percentage of this particular risk turning into a crisis or a problem? And then you'll have to see government, you will need to make sure that you make the best use of your resources, because your resources are limited, they're finite. And you need to focus. So many countries, so many nations bet. And then it might be good, but also If your bet is not good, then the results might be chaotic. What is interesting in this very specific period of time is that a lot of frontiers are moving. And what we used to address in the past in the world, a famous reality that is predictability, is no more present today. Nothing, almost nothing is predictable in the world of today. The speech of His Excellency, Mr. President, showed to which extent he had to work in so many areas in the world and in Africa, because nothing is predictable. So facing this unpredictable future, facing the risk of wrong bets, bearing the burden of unsolvable equations between the economy and the social aspects for our own nations and populations, we have two major things to address. First, we need to mitigate the risks as governments, as nations. But if your strategy, your policy is contained into mitigating the risks, you don't dare. You don't make investment. Which means that don't expect extraordinary results to be there. So you need to have a double scheme of action, mitigating the risk, but have some risk appetite in the same time. It might seem contradictory, but you absolutely need as a government to act in such a way. And in this specific matter, Morocco is maybe a case. My country is a case. His Majesty's vision is definitely a disruptive one with regards to so many areas where we tried successfully, in most of the cases, to mitigate the risks, but also to take some risks, make some good bets, and have some good benefits to our nation, to our population, but also to our partners. His Majesty's vision is disruptive because we achieved in Morocco, under His Majesty's guidance, to change the scale in every single topic that we address. Let's take, for instance, social state. Social state is a big issue in every single country today. Every crisis would transfer into social pressure, economic pressure that would deliver social pressure. His Majesty's last speech on the Parliament, opening this session of the Parliament, announced a big, unprecedented project for the social state in Morocco, providing targeted aids to the poorest population that we have, beginning from next month. $3 billion every year in the budget of the government. It's a big number for the Moroccan budget. $3 billion just for these targeted aids. And we have a tool. These are not blind aids. We have a tool. And we spent months and years working on that tool. Is the unified social register that His Majesty's launched a couple of years ago, that is ready now to address this needy population. Second thing, we would add to the $3 billion another $1 billion in the extension and widening of social protection. 2 years ago, less than 5 million Moroccans were beneficiaries of social protection. We are 22 million today. This is thanks to His Majesty's vision that was announced right after COVID-19. So we are on $5 billion every year, to which I would add another $1 billion on the housing project that His Majesty launched, providing subsidies $10,000, and for those who want houses more than $30,000, we would provide them with $7,000. We are on $5 billion per year. And to this $5 billion, I would add $1.5 billion on the compensation system that is here to make sure the prices are kept to an acceptable level. $6.5 billion is what the social state in Morocco will provide from next year on to all the Moroccans. And of course, this is the vision of His Majesty. As I told you a couple of minutes ago, we are changing scales. We're not addressing hundreds, we're not addressing thousands, we are not addressing tens of thousands or hundreds, we are addressing millions of Moroccans in very short time. Democracy and rights. You cannot be resilient. You cannot face the external crisis if you're not doing good internally. You need to have a strong democracy. Your people need to believe in the rights and in the democracy they live every day. Of course, something that can be enhanced in every single place in the world. And everyone is searching for the best model. But we do have a model that works. And this is thanks to a vision that makes the citizens, the Moroccan citizens, at the heart of every single policy and the DNA of our country. Investments and social and economic reforms. I don't want to take a long time addressing every specific thing that we have in this country, but I want to say that we are addressing all these things in the same time because we believe that strengthening our nation is the best answer to all the exposures to which we can, as a country, be exposed to. Authentic diplomacy. I was listening to His Excellency, Mr. President. It's an authentic dialogue. He's speaking with his heart. And I had the privilege to exchange a few words with him a couple of minutes ago. This people-to-people diplomacy is important. Mr. President was in Meknes before. Mr. Minister of Foreign Affairs was in Oujda before. This is people-to-people diplomacy. And this is how we can build stronger relations. I would finish by saying that what we accomplished in the World Cup is part of the soft power that every nation can build. We showed to the entire world, both the developed and developing countries, that it is possible. It's not a miracle, because not only we achieved the semifinals, but we are organizing 2030 World Cup. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who are familiar with strategy, there is a model that is called Blue Ocean in strategy. And in this model, there are two kinds of players. Those who play in the traditional world, with the traditional rules, with finite possibilities, and those who play in the non-traditional world, who create the rules. I think that we can humbly say today that Morocco is part of these countries who are creating the rules of the world of tomorrow. And I want to say that Morocco, with his partners, with the African nations, we're looking forward to co-create just, fair rules. We're our population, our people, are the first ones to be served. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.